Hi knitters, welcome back to Aro Knits and Pearls. I'm your host, Aro of Aro Knits and Pearls. Welcome back to this episode. I'm doing it a lot sooner than I initially hoped, which I'm very happy about. I'm about to go to a work conference very early tomorrow morning, so I will be quite busy for a whole week. So I really wanted to record an episode before, the holidays really ramp up, because I'm losing a whole week of my life to this conference. And before we start, thank you so much for congratulating me on this. And you might hear some scrabbling from the dog and cat. I have a treat here. Mabel, do you want to say hi? Up, Mabel, up. She's very distracted right now. But I got her this treat so that she would hopefully leave me alone for the duration of this video, but that might be too optimistic. So go away, Mabel. There you go. But yeah, thank you so much for the congratulations about the ring, the engagement, the new home, the dog. There's the cat here, but I know as soon as I bring him near the yarn, he will not leave me alone. They're both pretty good about not messing with my yarn, but they do get interested in it, and I would rather not deal with that right now. So really quick, what I am wearing right now is not actually released, like many of my knits. This is a work by Vera Rain, or Vera Valimecki. I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm so sorry. But she is one of the first designers that I became aware of. I would say her, Vera Valimecki, and Alicia Plummer were the first designers that I understood as like designers. And now I consider Alicia a friend. Like, we'll send each other voice messages about our pets. And Vera, this is my actually first time test knitting for her, and I was like so honored. Like, you guys have no idea, like the star power she has in my mind. It's really incredible. But yeah, so this is the inner piece sweater. It's not yet released. It's a simple cropped. She recommends like an Aran weight, but what I did was I used a DK with a mohair strand. And you guys know I love fluffy yarns, but what I really like about mohair is it adds, it brings it up almost 2 weight levels without adding true like weight in terms of like, grams or pounds, whatever, ounces. That's the American one. Yeah, grams or ounces. Like, it doesn't really add a lot to the fabric, the density, but it does add like the fuzz of it, the halo effect. It fills it out, so you can, make an Aran weight sweater by using just DK and a fuzzy lace weight. And that's what I chose to do. It's very simple. It's hard to show you the details because it's black. It's actually my first black project, and I want to make a million more black sweaters. Yes, it was a little bit tough, like at night when I was working on it without natural light, and when I didn't have my Lumos light. I should have brought my Lumos light down. It's basically, it goes around your neck and it has little lights on it, and you can change the... Mabel, why are you licking on my stand? If you see wobbling, that's what's going on. Actually, she's driving me crazy. I'm gonna move it because I feel like I'm gonna get motion sickness. Mabel, go away. Ah, okay. Yeah, so my Lumos light, without that, it was really hard to see the stitches, and that's what I've heard about black sweaters or working with black yarn in general. But I really love the finished project. I have worn this so many times in so many settings. You can dress it up. Like, I wore this to the Denver Symphony with a white silk midi skirt. I also wear this with jeans. I actually, when I wore this again for this video, I found like hay sticking out of it because the yarn is not rustic. I wore this to like 3 different pumpkin patches this fall, so I'm like still finding hay bits, and that's what that is. But just goes to show you, it's really versatile. I think every knitter should have a black sweater if they are, like into knitwear, like I am. The yarn, I wish I had more to show you, but I used up almost all of it. I didn't have a lot of yardage, but what I used was, it used to be Shibui silk mohair, but Madeline Tosh bought them out. So it's Tosh silk mohair, and it is literally the same base. I love formerly Shibui silk mohair, now Tosh silk mohair, or Silk Cloud, I think it's called Silk Cloud. I love it because it does have a shine. It's really hard to show you on video, but it really is beautiful. The yarn, it's the main yarn, the thicker DK weight is Craft Me Not Yarn Co. in her colorway Réglisse. It's supposed to be a true black, but in my opinion, I love Sarah, but it's not what I would call a true black. It definitely leaned more towards like raven blue. But because the mohair that I got is very black, it really like made the tone more even. It's so hard to show a black sweater. I'm not sure that I would make a textured piece because, you know, you'll hear this from a lot of knitters, but with black yarn, it's harder. Oh, there's Gandalf. It's harder to show off the, like the texture of it because it's harder to see. Gandalf, you get away from the tree. No, no tree. This is Gandalf, everybody. Say hi. Okay. And yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. It's not out yet, inner piece. Hopefully it will be out soon because it's so comfy. The construction is pretty simple. It is starting from the back. And again, I don't know if you guys can see anything, but it starts from the back. And then you move towards the front, join at the body. It's my favorite construction these days. I've been really digging drop shoulders. I'm not sure it's quote unquote flattering for my body type because I have wider arms and shoulders. I think it might accentuate it, but I'm trying not to think too much about what's flattering for me and thinking more about what makes me happy and comfortable, and drop shoulders make me really comfortable. So that's what I'm leaning towards. I'm also experimenting more with set-in sleeves, which I'll go into in a second. But let's talk about quickly what I've been working on. Gandalf's back. I might have to repeatedly kick him out because he keeps messing with the tree. So remember I showed you guys the oak leaf sweater? Well, I got to sleeve separation and I realized I am hilariously short on yarn, like hilariously short. I also tried it on because I only try on pieces once I get past sleeve separation, and that might not be the best time to do it because I ran into the issue where I'm hilariously short on yarn. And guess what? This colorway, the baby wool from We Are Knitters, which I really like the base. I talked about it last episode, really love working with it. They discontinued this color and I couldn't find any on Ravelry. So I'm gonna have to start over. It is a huge bummer, but I do have enough of this yarn once I undo this. I do have enough to make like a really pretty colorwork sweater where there's like a large bit of colorwork in another color. So I am going to eventually unravel this because it is so beautiful. The texture is so amazing, so soft, but you know, what can you do? But yeah, when I tried it on after sleeve separation, it was a lot bigger than I hoped to. So I raised the issue with the designer and the rest of the test group, and I realized that the math was off with the measurements and the yarn calculation. So she's had to redo the pattern, and I've only just restarted with the new reworked pattern. And she was so sweet, so apologetic. Again, the designer is Yunique Crafts. Yunique with the Y in the beginning because her name Yun, that's a Korean part of a name, but anyway, so she was really apologetic, and the other test knitters and I were very understanding. Like, it's hard to design a pattern, and the grading, like I went into last time, like grading for sizes gets tough. There's a lot of math involved, and this is why we do test knits. Like, I don't expect every test knit to be perfect from, you know, get-go. Gandalf. I don't expect it to be perfect, so I hope we expressed enough that we were very understanding of it. I did restart, which is not my favorite thing to do, but it's in a new yarn because, again, the base I originally got is out of stock now. So Gandalf, if you don't calm down, you're leading this video and everybody's gonna blame you for ruining this. So I decided to get the same exact base I got for my red sweater that I showed you guys last time, and I have it in here. So the same exact base of this one, and I'll talk about this one, the red berry. It's sport weight when the pattern, her pattern calls for DK weight for oak leaves. But when I was working with it on red berry is also written for DK. But because this has a nice fluffy content, so this is for 50% Suri alpaca, 50% merino, because of that Suri, like I was talking about, that extra halo, when it blocks out, it fills in that space really beautifully between the stitches. So again, you get the look of a heavier weight yarn, like the width of a heavier weight yarn without the weight. Width without weight. That's how I should think about it. So yeah, I decided to get these colorways. This is Dusk. This color here is Dusk. It's kind of a light brown with pink notes, neutral. I wouldn't say warm, I wouldn't say cool, I would say true neutral. And this beautiful cream is called Cannoli. I bought these from Seed Stitch. That's one of my favorite yarn stores, local yarn stores. It's in Bountiful, Utah. I get this question all the time from people who are coming in from out of town. What yarn stores should they go to? And I would have to say Seed Stitch is probably my favorite. There are a couple more that opened in Salt Lake proper. So like people are usually like here for work conferences or something. And if you're in downtown proper, Handwork is an amazing yarn store that just opened with Whitney. I used to work with her when I first moved here and worked at the local yarn store to try and get integrated into the community. But she opened it and it's really beautiful. She has lots of great yarns. It's in a great location if you're close to downtown. I highly recommend that one too. So if you are from out of town and you're in Utah, Bountiful and Seed Stitch in Bountiful, Handwork, and SLC. There's another one that opened recently. I haven't been there yet, so I can't talk about it, but I'm sure it's beautiful. But yeah, there are lots of really great yarn opportunities in Salt Lake or Utah in general now, so I'm really excited about that. But Seed Stitch has this, and Sunday Fiber Co. I guess I should have said that. I don't know if I said that. Sunday Fiber Co. The owner is Elise. She's the dyer. She's a wonderful human being, and she's actually based in Canada. So I don't buy from her as often as I want to, because if you're new to me, I hate paying for shipping. I hate it so much. And getting something shipped from Canada, you know, she does offer a generous like flat rate if you hit, you know, a certain marker, and that's great. But sometimes I don't need to spend whatever her minimum is for the flat rate. So I'm just like, I try to not buy so often because international shipping does get a little pricey. But because she was brought in by Seed Stitch to carry this base and hopefully other bases soon, I was able to buy it without paying for shipping, and I was very happy for it. They do have an online store, Seed Stitch does, so if you want some, I highly recommend you go to their website. I will link everything in the description below, including the designs / designers, because most of the times the designs I talk about aren't released yet, so you can go to those to at least get to the designers and the yarn and the yarn shops and whatever else have you. But I restarted my oak leaves, which you can see, I think I talked about this last time, but there's like a million stitch markers because between the bigger sections, you're increasing in like a triangular shape. So you really do need the stitch markers to be able to see. Now I got cute fancy ones from Hello Lavender. Oh, let's flip to the wrong side. Yeah, I got cute fancy ones from Hello Lavender, but you don't need to spend a lot on stitch markers if you are not able to, or if you just don't see the value in that. That's totally a-okay. For me personally, I love nice stitch markers because it feels like I'm accessorizing my knits, and it's just fun because like I try to match them all. Like the main marker, the beginning of round marker is this one, and then the little accents are one plain one. These are actually rose gold teardropped, and that's not from Hello Lavender. This I got from Camellia Fiber Company. And then the little accent markers are Hello Lavender. And I'm either doing a flower or a leaf to complement the flower. And if you hear this weird suction sound, that is Mabel licking the heck out of her Kong. I hope you can't hear it, but we'll find out. But yeah, so I restarted it. Again, it is a bummer, but that's why I test. You know, I don't expect everything to be perfect. And sometimes when I test, I am responsible for something not being perfect because I am human and I mess up. But more than that, I am a human that's riddled with hubris. A lot of pride with me. So I did the Knit Collage Winter Knit Along. If you haven't done a Knit Collage Winter Knit Along, how it works is they have a pool of designs that they release only for this knit along. You have to purchase a package with them, and then you get the pattern. You get access to all these like really special little Zoom sessions they have. They actually recently launched an app which has all the information you might need, including like access to the pattern, and also like tutorials and stuff if there are lots of new techniques that are new to you. And this was one of the first color work in like flat pieces that I've ever worked on. And I'm gonna see if you guys can recognize the mistake because it's glaring to me. It's all I can see, but I didn't see it when it was on my needles because I was using needles. Like, this is quite an oversized piece. I don't have a lot of needles that length, like needle cords. So it was a little bit bunched up, and I didn't, it starts bottom up, and I didn't try it on until I had started the sleeve. And what happened was, it's not centered. This snowflake should be centered, but it is not. It's not. Like, it's not even like this is the center. No, it's just weird. It's just off. And I had a very emotional moment. Sterling was very concerned. He hates when I have to rip out because he thinks it's such a waste. He's like, but you spent so much time on it. And I'm like, but it's wrong. It's wrong. So I had to take 24 hours to like put it away and be angry about it. And I have no one to be angry with but myself because I didn't read the chart closely enough and the instructions. I just started. And that's what happens a lot of times when I have mistakes with patterns and knits. I think I think that I'm a lot cleverer than I am. And that is how I make mistakes. I get careless, like this uncentered snowflake just mocking me. But it was a really fun knit. Like, it's bottom up, and I normally never do a bottom up, but because it's so chunky, here's the yarn. It's their Serenity Boucle, and it is like a bulky Boucle. Boucle. It's Boucle, but I like to say Boucle because I think it sounds funny. But it's very chunky. I used US 10.5, and I cannot tell you the millimeter because I am not good at remembering the millimeters. I always just like Google the chart every single time. I have to look it up. But I will say, like, it's one of the first times I've worked with a chunkier Boucle. It is the first time I've worked with a chunkier Boucle. I've only done 2 other Boucle projects before, so this is still pretty new to me. I like it a lot better than fingering weight Boucle, because the stitches, like, they don't look as uneven. Like, it looks a lot more intentional, whereas with Boucle, I'm like, it looks like I messed up my tension. It looks like I don't know what I'm doing. And for some people, like, they love the look. That's a-okay. You do you, girl, or boy, you know. But it's not for me personally. Whereas the chunky weight, I really think it looks intentional. It looks cute. I love this design. It was bottom up, like I said, but because it was chunky, I put up with it. You know, it wasn't hard. The color work, half of it from sleeve separation, half of it was done flat. And that's the first time I've ever had to do color work knit flat. I think it's called Fair Isle if you do it flat. Don't quote me. I'm not really good at naming the techniques. But yeah, so that was different. They recommend actually that you do like you sew the shoulder seams together, but I hate doing that. So I just did it a 3-needle bind off. And what that means is like you leave the stitches live, you don't bind off. You leave the stitches live and then knit 2 together as you bind off, and it creates this like really lovely, almost invisible seam to it. The sleeves are supposed to be way more voluminous than this. I think this is like 1/3 of what they recommend. And so what they recommend, like it's supposed to be very balloon-like with a sudden decrease for the cuff. And so it creates what I think of as like, it's not even balloon sleeve, it's like bubble balloon sleeve. It's just round and then which, you know, looks great on a lot of people. I've realized that on me, because I am shorter and petite, it looks like I am being swallowed up by fabric rather than it looking cute and intentional. It just looks a little bit silly on me. So that's why I picked up almost 1/3 of the sleeve suggested count. And I'm glad that I did, because it actually, it fits me more. I feel more comfortable. Yeah, really happy with it. The collar, like I haven't blocked anything yet, so it's standing up a little bit weird, but that's because I did a fold over. Originally this pattern, I should have said the pattern, I'm so disorganized. The Enchanted Forest, as part of Knit Collage's winter knit along. The Enchanted Forest is actually supposed to be this like really big turtleneck, cowl neck type of thing. But you guys know I don't enjoy those. I just don't. I don't like anything tight around my neck. Like folded over collar is as tight as I can get. But given how wide the neckline is, like it's not very tight on me, and I really like that. I will say I did a tighter neckline than they recommend. I originally did the neckline with as many stitches as they suggested, but what happened is because it's designed for a cowl neck or giant turtleneck, it's quite large. And when you do a fold over neck and it's quite larger than the piece, what'll happen is it'll like flare out. It did not look great on me. So I brought it in quite a bit. And because it's so oversized, I thought that the tighter neck would make it hang a little bit more securely on me. I knit, this is the size 2. This is a size 2. And it's a lot of fabric. So if you do knit it, if you don't like the, sorry, if you don't like the crazy oversized look, size down. That's what I recommend, but I've decided not to frog it because it would involve so much. I would have to undo the sleeve, I would have to undo the shoulders, then rip out, and I'm not about that life. I'm not about Mabel messing with my setup either, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, so that's another thing I've been working on. And then the red berry, I showed this to you guys last time for Sedna knitting. It's actually out. The red berry sweater is out, you guys. I've started the body ribbing. I'm almost done, but it's just the body ribbing I have to go to. And again, this was supposed to be in DK weight. I chose not to do DK weight. I chose the Fuzzy Sport from Sunday Fiber Co. 50% Suri alpaca, 50% merino. It's gorgeous, it's soft, it's got a halo. I only steam block this. I think I might wet block this to get like the bubbles and lace really popping, but I love it. I think it's the perfect holiday sweater. I'm really excited. Italian tubular, I told you guys this last time, but oh, did I tell you last time? No, I don't think I did. Okay, so when I last showed this to you guys, it was just me doing a regular long tail cast on, and I realized that the edge flared, and what she recommends is Italian tubular, and I hate tubular cast-ons. They are very labor intensive, and maybe it's just because I'm not used to them, but I don't think so. I think it's because they're just fiddly by their nature. But it does create this like really beautiful fold over, and what that means is it makes the ribbing continuous from the edge. Like you don't see a true cast on. I'm trying to cover my face because I feel like iPhone focuses on my face. but the ribbing is almost like seamless to the front and back. Whereas with long tail cast on, you get that almost chainette look on the top, right? So I'm really glad that I did it. It made this like scallopy effect look really polished and professional. And that's what people who are crazy about Italian tubular always tell me, that it's worth it for the professional finish. I don't think I'll ever do it again unless it's a design like this, where the lace creates a true shaping. For most things like this, long tail, I don't have an issue with it. Regular bind off, I think is great. It works fine for almost all of the patterns I've ever knit. Long tail cast on, regular bind off, a-okay. But for this is one of the very, very few exceptions, I think, of my entire life that I will ever make. But the pattern's out. I realized that I didn't do the short row shaping on the back. I will deal with that as it comes. I'll let you know once I actually finish it and try it on whether or not I really wish I had gone back to do the short rows, because I didn't realize I needed to do short rows until I was ready for ribbing. So again, that's me being a bit too clever, thinking that I know what's coming ahead, and I did not. So that's, I guess, the theme of my knitting these days. It's been a bit frustrating because I've had a lot of setbacks. My Belle and Sebastian sweater by Sari Nordlund. The test period is officially over, but she hasn't released the pattern yet, but it is coming in January. So keep your eye out for that. This is in the Wandering Flock Fluff base that I talked about a lot last episode. If you haven't watched that, please watch it, because I talk a lot about these projects that I've talked about more in depth. But it's grown a lot, as you can see. I'm almost done with my first sleeve. The texture is great. I love the fit. I actually did try this on, and I really, really am excited about it. There's not too much I can say that I haven't already. Sari Nordlund patterns are some of my favorite. Her designs are gorgeous. Her instructions are clear. The construction, it's really easy if you know how to do short rows, if you know how to pick up stitches. It is easy, I promise you, even if there is a little chart like this that you need to do. If you're willing to take time to learn how to read a chart, I think it's totally accessible for more inexperienced knitters who want to do something a bit challenging. Like, it's not impossible. Also, this design, it's on a repeat of 3. So the cable design, I mean, it's on a repeat of 3. So it is very easy to memorize. A lot of patterns, I will say, like, it is harder to like remember, oh, this cable increases at this time, but this cable crosses at this time. And, you know, it gets a little bit hard, but this is repetitive in the best way I can say. So I highly recommend it once it comes out. I'm really excited for all of you to start knitting it, because it really is gorgeous. And I love that it's in a worsted chunkier weight, because it moves quickly. It moves quickly. So that's that. Other things I've been really excited about. So I got this book from Yunique. The video might flip the writing, so I will read it out to you. It's by Claudia Quintanilla. I don't speak Spanish. Yeah, I think she's from Spain. Yeah, so Claudia Quintanilla from Yunique based in Toronto. They are a local yarn store as well. But she published a book recently called Memory Lane. Oh my God, Mabel, if you knock this camera over. So this book, Memory Lane, there are a lot of patterns in it. Some of them will have more challenging elements, like, let me find, there's an embroidery one, there's beading. But the fun thing about embroidery and beading is you can skip it. So this is one of the designs that uses embroidery. It's gorgeous. Like, don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous. Like, these little embroidered butterflies are really beautiful. Mabel, do not bark. Oh, here's a close-up of those butterflies. I don't think I'll ever embroider a sweater, to be honest. It seems quite fiddly to me, which isn't to say I don't admire it when people do, but for me, I think it would be quite fiddly. There are ridiculous, no, I shouldn't say ridiculous. Intensive? Patterns requiring dedication? Mabel, stop boofing. Stop boofing at the people. Sorry, it's time for the kids to get out of school, and she loves children, so that's what's happening. But there are just plain knitting patterns as well. That's a lace cardigan that looks quite nice. What I am excited about is this one, Olympia. It looks so simple. It's just a sweater, right? Nothing really pronounced. But on the back, how it actually works is it has a V on the back, and you join with like a ribbon. You insert a ribbon through the folded over collar, and I love that look. I want like a big voluminous ribbon, obviously. Oh yeah, here's a better picture of it. So that's something I really want to make, because it's simple, but depending on the type of ribbon and the size of ribbon, you can go real big. The pattern I actually decided to work on. Gosh, there's so many patterns in here. There are a lot of patterns in here. Sorry, I should have actually like saved the page where this was. Oh, this was a nice one actually. I really like that color work one. Yeah, there's a lot of really beautiful stuff in here, and I'm really excited. You can tell they put in a lot of effort into like the set, not set, because it's like the location. Yeah, photograph location and lighting. It's very moody. It focuses on details. The only thing is I wish that they had more like full modeled shots that were a bit clearer about the design. Some of them are better than others. Yeah, like this one. Oh my god, this is so cute, you guys. Pepita. Like, I love that little collar. I gotta see if it's crocheted, because if it's crocheted, I ain't doing it. You guys know me. I'm rather incorrigible when it comes to learning new crafts, because if it doesn't click for me immediately, I generally don't want to do it, which is a really bad trait. I think I should be more open to not being good at something immediately. But anyway, this is the pattern I'm actually working on, the Maria. It is top down, and I only like to do top down, minus the knit collage sweater I showed you earlier. But it has color work on the bottom, and the yarn that I'm using is the yarn that they recommended. So it's Emilia and Philomene, the mohair and lace weight, regular lace weight. I have it balled up here. It's this beautiful sage green, and obviously, whoop. Obviously you can tell I'm having a moment with the sage greens, right? It's like hilarious how many sage green sweaters I wanted to start at the same time. The contrast color I'm going with is this beautiful smoky gray. I will say, this is the first time I've ever used a non-fuzzy lace weight in anything. And so how it works is it's held double, just like I would with a fingering and lace. I can't even hold these in one hand. It's the same as I would do with a regular fingering and lace combo, is I hold them together. But the drape on this is incredible. Like, it is a much smaller weight than I'm used to. I'm using US 4s, and generally I don't like to use anything smaller. My limit is a 4. For the ribbing I had to go smaller, but anyway. But like, look at that. Like the way it flows, the fabric, it's gorgeous. Like I didn't think I would like it because it is so small, but now I love it. This is top down as well. A lot of short row shaping. Mabel, no, stop it, sit. A lot of short row shaping on the back to bring up that neck in the back. This folded over neckline I am obsessed with. It looks like a picot bind off or something, but it was so easy. It's just when you reach that middle point where you're gonna fold it, you do knit 2, yarn over, knit 2, yarn over, all the way around. And what that does is the knit 2 decreases it to make a point, but the yarn over, you know, creates another stitch so that you have the same stitch count. And when you fold over, it creates this gorgeous little little bind off, and I am obsessed with it. She actually, the design only calls for it around the neckline, but I love the look of this and I love consistency. So what I'm gonna do is add it to the body hem as well as the sleeve hems. This is a set-in sleeve. So when I first got to sleeve separation, I was like, this is gonna look goofy. It's too small. I can't believe I messed this up that bad. It's too small. I checked the gauge and everything. I was only like maybe 1 stitch off every 2 inches. So I was like, there's no way I messed this up that bad. Because it looked so small, like teeny. But once I did the set-in sleeve, it adds a lot to the length of this. So with set-in sleeves, you pick up like normal, but you do so many short rows to create this kind of like increase and cap, the sleeve cap. So it adds that width that I was afraid it didn't have because it looked like a little baby sweater without the set-in sleeve. But it's really fun if you like short rows, and I love German short rows. They are my favorite. Mabel, if you don't stop biting that pillow, no. Sorry, it's so hard. It's so hard. I don't know how people raise human children, because I'm losing my mind with this dog and that cat. Thankfully, Gandalf went somewhere. But anyway, yeah, so if you like short rows, particularly German short rows like I do, this is a lot of fun. I really like set-in sleeves, and they do fit really nice. What I was talking about, like the flattering versus comfortable, I would say with set-in sleeves, it's a great happy medium between the two. It creates like a more polished line as to the fit compared to a raglan. But it is very comfortable to wear, like a drop shoulder. So I really like this pattern. I can't wait to work on it more. I haven't worked on the red berry or this very much since I've started knitting really with gusto again. But that's because I know I'm going to this work conference and I tend to just want easy stockinette. Well, Mabel! I tend to just want easy stockinette when I'm traveling. So I will probably do a lot more on this and finish the red berry while I'm in San Diego at that work conference. But yeah, I think that's it. I have some more stuff I want to talk about next episode, like new yarns I've been finding. I've been experimenting more with like a little bit more affordable yarns, like I mentioned last episode. So I got some Barocco that I'm excited about to show you. But yes, thank you for joining in. I will hopefully talk to you guys before the Christmas holiday. Yeah, so I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching, and love you guys always. Be safe, have a happy knitting time, or just have a happy time in general. Okay, bye.